Hi, I'm Sarah and you're watching Acid Burn Saya, and I post every Tuesday with new content about books. Today I am going to be talking about my January TBR as well as my 2023 TBR of what the books I want to read this year. Last year I read 60 something books. I debated making my goal 100, but I think I will just keep it at 52 a book a week, because last year my goal was 12 because I used to only read a book a month if I was lucky. This year I'm going to try to read a book a week, which is 52 books, and these are some of the books on my TBR. So first of all, I'm going to go through my January TBR of what I want to read this January. The first book on my January TBR is You Must Remember This from Kat Rosenfield. It has been described as a Knives Out book meets Taylor Jenkins Reid, and all of those aspects really appealed to me. So I have pre-ordered it and I plan to read it. Next book on my January TBR is Virgn River by Robyn Carr. I got this for my birthday and it is a book series. I'll see how I feel with reading the first one. I like the TV series. It is about a widow and she comes to Virgn River to start a new life. And it's a romance and it's a Mills and Boon book. So I've never read Mills and Boon, so I look forward to that. I also plan to read Confess by Colleen Hoover this month. I don't know anything about it, I just know it's a Colleen Hoover book. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas is my January TBR. So that is basically my January TBR, and it's not a big list for January at the moment of what I want to read, because I think I'm more of a mid-reader. But let's get on to what I want to read this 2023. I have a few goals. As I said, my goal is to read 52 books this year. As I said, I'm planning to read Crown of Midnight in January. I need to read it in January. I have a plan. I want to get this book series finished. It's sitting over there. I'm not going to lift it all out. I want to get this book series by the end of the year. So if I read one book of it a month, I should finish it by the end of the year. One of my goals is I want to be better with my book series, finish more book series that I've started. Crown of Midnight follows Selena, who is an assassin, and it's by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the first book series I've read of Sarah J. Maas. Shall see how that goes on throughout the year, and I have a few different book series that I want to do that with. The next book series I want to finish this year is Sophie, Kinsella, Shopaholic and Sister. I want to get this finished this year because I bought the Christmas book of it and didn't realize that I needed to read the whole series to read it. I'd already read the first 3, so I have a couple. So I think I'm going to read that after I read the Throne of Glass series. Next on my list is I'm Glad My Mother Died by Jennette McCurdy, which is a repeat offender because I planned to read that last year, but I will have to read it this year. Some of these are in my most anticipated reads of 2023, but The Brothers Hawthorne by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is not part of the Hawthorne legacies. I think it is a prequel, or it is about the brothers before grandfather died. I'm not 100% sure, but I look forward to reading that, and that is definitely on my books because I finished that series and really enjoyed it. Next is One of Us Is Back by McManus. However, I haven't read the second one, so I plan to read the second and the third one this year. However, I won't be too heartbroken if I don't read the third. The second is definitely on my list, which is One of Us Is next. The next is Emily Henry's Happy Place, which was on my anticipated reads of 2023. I fell in love with Emily Henry this year. I read You and Me on Vacation and Book Lovers, and I plan to read Beach Read this year, as well as any others that are on her catalogue. This is on my most anticipated reads. The next book is The Midnight Library by Haig. It is, I'm not 100% sure what it is. I know there is suicidal thoughts and mentions of suicide. I think she ends up, from the sounds of it, she ends up in a library of what her life could have been, of the choices she could have made. I got this as a birthday present and I'm quite excited to read it. A book series I am planning to carry on with is the fourth book in the Seven Sisters series. I got the Seven Sisters series as a Christmas present a couple of years ago and started it in 2021. This is the fourth book. The last book in the series comes out in 2023, and that is on my most anticipated reads. This is The Pearl Sister. This book series follows 6 adopted sisters who, at the loss of their adopted father, are given the identity of where they come from. They go in search of their ancestry and who they belong to, and they all end up in different corners of the world. This one I think is set in Australia. I'm not 100% sure. They're all set in different areas of the world and in different time periods, and they're very enjoyable. So I will be reading that this year. I didn't have time to read it in 2022. However, I did read 2 of the books, and they are quite thick. That one's just shy of 700 pages. So next is another book in a book series that I want to carry on, and that is Voyager. And this is the 3rd book in the Outlander series. I have read 2 of the Outlander books, and I'd like to read at least 1 this year just to carry on with it. And the text is tiny, and it is over 1,000 pages. So I have been wanting to read another Outlander book. I can't remember the last time I read it. It has time travel, and it's falling in love with a Scotsman in about 1740s. That's about the Battle of Culloden. Another repeat offender is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, which has been on my TBR quite a bit on 2023. But it's a nice short book, and it's something that I am embarrassed that I haven't read and that I do want to read. A book that was very in a couple of years ago, but I would love to read, is Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. I got it for my mother a couple of years ago for her birthday. I got it for my mother probably in 2016. I'd like to carry on because I do like Bruce Springsteen's music, and I would like to hear a bit more. I've been sitting on my mother's shelf staring at me and singing to me. Another book that I got as a present is Emily of New Moon. I got this a couple of years ago, probably more than a couple of years ago. I have read the first one. I haven't read the other 2. My mother compares me to Emily of New Moon. I would like to read this. Well, my mother would like me to read this. It would make my mother happy if I read them. This is by the author of Anne of Green Gables. This is her not as popular book series, Emily of New Moon. There's Emily Climbs, and I can't remember what the other book is. Follows an orphan girl who ends up with her aunts. I'd like to read some Stephanie Garber this year, to read Caraval, but I've yet to buy it, and I have so many books that I need to read. But I have Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is in my tiny book haul, which I got because I got it for £3. So I would like to read this. I don't really know much about it, and I'm happy enough with that. But I have some Colleen Hoover books here. I have Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. I haven't heard much about this book. I got the first 2. I got Maybe Someday and Maybe Now for my birthday. I would like to get them read because I got them from my best friend Emma. So those 2. I know nothing about it. There's a guitar on it, so it's probably about a musician. Next Colleen Hoover book that I have on my 2023 TBR is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is the sequel to It Ends With Us. It's like I haven't really heard any real reviews about it. I didn't really enjoy It Ends With Us, but I pre-ordered this because it was on offer. I got it at £5 for a hardback, so started pre-ordering it whenever I was reading It Ends With Us and didn't realise I wouldn't like it, but I have it, and so it's not very long, just over 300 pages, so I should be able to get that read this year, and I want to get it read so that I can move on to better books. Hopefully it's not as bad as I think it's going to be. Next on my list is The Chain of Thorns by Cassandra Clare, which is part of my most anticipated reads of 2023. I have read all the other Shadowhunters books. This is the latest one in the Shadowhunters series. It is also the last book in the Last Hours trilogy, which is about the children of the characters in the Infernal Devices. It follows James Herondale and his sister Lucy Herondale as they deal with being shadow hunters in London, England. And it was meant to be on my January TBR, but unfortunately it comes out at the end of January, so it will be on my February TBR. A Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I haven't read. I have a few Taylor Jenkins Reid books that I haven't read. I've really enjoyed her books this year. This is Maybe Another Life by, and it sounds a little bit like Sliding Doors, about how your life would have gone if you made a different decision. Sliding Doors by Gwyneth Paltrow. So, Where the Crawdads Sing by Leah Owens. I've seen the movie, so hopefully I plan to read that this year. However, I would prefer to read it in summer on a warm night, so it definitely doesn't feel like a winter read, but I hopefully will read it this summer. The last book that I really want to read in 2023 is the Atlas 6. I recently got the Atlas Paradox. I found it for the cheapest price I have found it. I had the hardback in the first book. I wanted a matching set. Those are the books that I want to read in 2023. I'm not going to lift them because they're far too heavy. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like. If you want more of my content about book, please subscribe. And yeah, enjoy your day. And thank you for watching. Bye.